Immediately. Now I'm like, fuck you, I ain't going. Fuck your parole. 41 years I tried to get this, but as soon as they tell me I got to put on the jewelry, I'm like, nah, fuck you, I ain't going. I don't know this, but they got 4 cars outside. You know, they got 8 or 10 people picking me up to transport me because they had got threats against me. People were coming to kill me. Hello and welcome to Time the Podcast. Thanks for joining us again. It's me, the boss, and I'm here with my friend and co-host, very nice person, Paula Parrish. Say hi, Paula.
Co-host. Hi, boss.
Hi, Paula.
Am I your co-host now?
Well, yeah, because I called you my producer and you got all over my case, man. It became the Hulk, this mean fucking person. So we're going to transform you into this very kind and dear person. So you're co-host now.
No, what had you called me?
Publicist.
Yeah, that's not a producer.
Right. See, there's that mean person again. See?
You were suggesting that you need a publicist.
I don't know if I was suggesting or if I just took one on. It was one or the other. There was no suggestion, right? I just said, that's it. That's what you are. Yeah?
It was just a P word.
Yeah, a P word. I know the P words. I know all the P words.
No.
No.
Hi, welcome to Time the Podcast. Hi, boss.
Hi, Peak. Looks like we're rebooting. Thanks for coming. I hope you enjoyed the last episode. I don't know what we're talking about today, but I'm sure P's going to tell us.
I want to talk about the parole board.
Ooh, there's so many aspects to that, so maybe you'll have to take that in sections. There's so much shit there, man.
Let's go personal. I want to know what it was like for you the first time you went to the parole board.
So my first parole board appearance was in 2005. I knew, everybody knows you don't stand a chance at your first board. But there's always that little light of hope in the back of your head that keeps you getting up in the morning, that keeps you from just sticking your fucking head in the toilet, just drowning yourself, right? Well, maybe I'll be different. Maybe I'll be that one guy who makes his first board. There's no chance of making the first board, so it's just a learning experience. You just go in there and you figure out, they tell you what you're going to do and you don't really have anything to say. So they hit me at my first board, went back 2 years later, they hit me 24 months again, went back 2 years later, they hit me 24 months again. And I said, man, something's got to change. What have I got to do? They keep telling me the same thing. You're doing great, you're doing good, you're programming, keep doing what you're doing. But nothing's changing. I go back and it's 24, and it's 24, and it's 24. So I started educating myself in different ways, I started teaching different programs. I started creating programs inside for other inmates to better everybody, right? So I started creating programs, taking better programs. I started taking programs outside of the prison. And
fucking guy in a Harley.
That's not a Harley. That's a rice burner. That thing's burning rice. You can't smell the rice-a-roni? Yeah, that's a rice burner. So I got a hold of my friend John, and John bought me a degree program from the Stratford Cure Institute as an alcohol and drug counselor. So I took that program. It was online. It's an online program that they set up for me to take, and I took that and got that, went back to the parole board. Oh, this is wonderful. This is great. Do you plan to use this when you get on? I'm going, yeah, of course I do. I had no intention of using that, right? But I just got it to hopefully impress the parole board.
Really? You didn't do it to start a program on the inside?
Not really. I did use it to start a program on the inside, but I got it to impress the parole board, right? That's anything I did inside at that point, after like the third board, everything I did was geared toward impressing the parole commissioner so that they give me fucking parole, right? And once you've been to the parole board and you've been through this process so many times, you figure out that the only weapon you have is the weapon of they can't say no. You just have to do better and better and better. The problem is when you have a life sentence, they never have to let you go. They have to see you every 2 years at a minimum, but they never have to let you go. So, so you just try to be that guy. You try to be the guy when you walk in, you've got a folder stacked full of just these brilliant things. When they open it up, it's just, the fucking glory of God coming out. Oh, Well, your fucking folder shines, right? Glows with this hurrah. So that's what you try to build. You try to build this beautiful picture of the person you've become, and you try to convince them not to look at the person you were.
Which is also in that folder.
Which is the only thing they read, is the person you were.
Tell me what a board hearing is like.
So the commissioners do it virtually now. It used to be they had to come to the facilities, and and then now they started this virtual thing. All the parole boards are virtual, so you're not in the same room with them. You're on a television screen. So in a typical facility, there'll be anywhere between 25 and 35 people going to the board on any given week, and they do them all the same in 2 days usually. So you'll be in there with however many guys, 10, 15 people, all waiting to go parole board. So you might go in there at, say, 8 o'clock in the morning. I've gotten out of there after midnight. 8 o'clock in the morning till after midnight. Nothing to read, nothing to do, no television to watch. There's no entertainment. You're in a holding tank, wooden benches, very uncomfortable, dirty, waiting to see these godlike personas who are the parole commissioners. And finally they call you in there. By the time you get in there, you are worn out. You're just wrung out from stress, from waiting, from wonder. You can't help but be just worn out. You're just mentally exhausted by the time you get there. And so by the time you get there, they already see the bad side of you. So you go in, you sit down in front of a television. Unless you're absolutely first. When you sit down, let's say you're even second or any time after that. You sit down in front of this television in a chair. It's a big screen television, and there's a camera on top of it. And it's looking at the ceiling of the room that they're in. You can't see them. You can't hear them. It's muted. You don't know if you're muted or not. You kind of think you are, but you're not sure, so you don't talk. They're closing out the guy before you, making the decision for the guy who came before you. When they're finished with that, camera tilts down. They introduce themselves, ask you to introduce yourself, and then they read what's called your header sheet. So they read whatever they wrote about your crime, that's what they read. Say, this is why you're here, and they read that. Whether it's true, not true, that's what they're going by. There's no argument. This isn't the place to correct it. Right? So whatever your counselor has written in your folder is who you are. And that's what they get to read. So the gods get to read what the angel wrote.
Wow, so that counselor has so much power.
Way too much power.
And how many times do they interview you before you go to that board?
Once.
So from that one meeting,
yes.
Say you're in a bad mood that day.
Say your counselor's in a bad mood. Maybe your counselor's an asshole.
Wow.
Maybe he or she's in a bad mood. That's it.
Oh, that's terrifying. So go back. I want to know everything.
All right. So they finish up what they're doing. The camera comes down. You see the three of them. There's usually 3 commissioners. If you've been to the board as many times as I have, it's usually 3 that you already know. They read your header sheet. This is your case. This is your crime. Whether it is or it isn't, this is what we know about you. This is what we're going with. Period. Then the camera will zoom in on the God that is doing your hearing. Right? The other 2 go off the screen and they're quiet. So you're supposed to have 3 people in front of you doing this interview. There's supposed to be 3 votes because 2 yays and you're out. 2 nays and you're stuck. If it's not unanimous either way. So you're supposed to have 3 commissioners / gods determining whether or not you're eligible. You have earned your parole, right? Mm-hmm. And I shouldn't say earn parole, whether or not you're a threat to society, because you can't earn parole. They tell you that right from the top. Lifers used to be able to go out in the community and work on work release and earn their parole by showing that they are, in fact, rehabilitated and ready to reenter society by going out to work all week and then reporting to prison on the weekends.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Pataki took that away. When Pataki took office, he stopped violent felony offenders from being released. Pataki took all the commissioners who were liberals off the parole board, changed all those commissioners with his guys, and told every one of them, I don't want any violent felony offenders released. So violent felony offender releases went to 0. Now, when Como came in, the budget was so fucked up. The prison budget was so high. I mean, to run the prisons was just eating New York State's money. just sucking it up. There's no money to fix the roads. There's no money for schools. There's no money for anything because the prison is just sucking it up. So Como said, hey, start releasing some of these guys. You know, some of these guys who have been to the board 8, 10, 12 times who clearly have good records, start releasing some of them. So Kringle, Smith, Coppola, those guys had to start releasing some people.
Yeah, so here's where you come in. So 9 commissioners were replaced when Cuomo came in, right?
Right.
Nine commissioners. So we saw all these violent offenders who had done all this time were being released, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Including some people that we know who had very heinous crimes on their records, right? And you weren't. Even that, who's that guy? There's a guy who was doing time with you in the end who had killed his mom and like...
Yeah, he killed his mother, fucked her corpse for like 3 days before he got busted, and then did 40 years, got paroled before me.
And also your co-defendant got released 2 years before you.
Yep.
No one understood that.
That parole officer told me, remember I was a shuttle driver, so I drove her to work every day. And a lot of times she came in late. She'd come in at the 9 o'clock shift. So she'd be all by herself in the van, and it was probably a 1.5 mile ride. And you don't drive over 10 miles an hour on that ride because there's people walking all over the place. So I had the opportunity to talk to her every morning almost. So I said to her, I said, listen, I can't figure this shit out. I've been to the board 10 times, whatever it was. I've got a perfect record. I said, look, I'm driving this van. You know what I mean? I mean, seriously, think about that. I said, this is a lethal weapon, right? I'm driving this big-ass van all by myself. And I said, I can't figure out why I can't go to the parole board. And she goes, well, you know, there's really no way to figure that shit out, man. And she just kind of blew me off. Or so I thought. And then a few days later, she's back in the van. And she goes, okay, I looked at your folder. I checked it out. Do you want to hear it? I said, yeah. She goes, you're arrogant and you're an asshole. That's why.
That's what.
That's what Milo says.
Oh my God,
so
it's
she
perfect.
Goes, yeah, so she said, you're arrogant and you're an asshole. She said, people are afraid of you. She says, you have this demeanor. You are 1,000% convict. You have to get that shit out of your system when you go to the board. She says, you got to figure this out. You have to be calm. You have to be nicer, and it has to show on your face and in your demeanor. She says, wow. You want to make the parole board? That's what you have to do.
So there was a note in your folder that said something to the effect of you're an asshole and you're...
Not a note. It was someone's opinion. Some counselor or parole commissioner had written that I was scary, potentially dangerous because I was so angry. It said, it just shows on your face you are a scary guy. Like, what are you talking about? She says, even some of the women on the bus say that you're scary. I said, I don't disrespect anybody. She says, you absolutely do not. But your demeanor and the way you carry yourself, she said, you're big, you're strong, and you're scary. That has to change. So I'm like, well, what the fuck? How do you change big, strong, and scary? What do you do?
I would label you as intense.
Okay, I'll go with intense.
But did you have any tickets on your record that you had to explain away at the board?
Sure. I had fighting tickets. I had tickets for, when you get stabbed, you get a ticket for that too. So you have to explain that. Why would somebody want to stab you? Because, all these people are walking around and they're not getting stabbed. So why would they want to stab you? And you have to explain that, You can't say, oh no, they just picked me, because they know you're full of shit. So you have to explain it in a way that makes sense to them, but doesn't make you the villain, right?
So your final board meeting, what was that like?
That parole officer that we spoke about told me what to do. She took me through it step by step, told me what to say, what to do, based on my record, she said, I know what the commissioners are looking for from you, and this is it. This is what you have to do. This is what you have to say. Whether you believe it or not, this is your fucking story. And she laid it out for me and told me what to do. She schooled me. And I went in there and played that role. I had the fucking crocodile tears going. I had the whole fucking thing going. And one of the commissioners, when I was finished, actually said, I've been looking for that from you. Because she had seen me 3 times. She gave me, 4 years already in dejection. And she said, that's what I've been looking for in you. I've been looking for that emotion. She said, you've never had any emotion when you come in here. I just played a script. It was all bullshit. It was all hyperbole, but it got me out.
You were so sure that it wasn't going to happen.
The circumstances convinced me that I was never getting out. I mean, I seen guys dying around me left and right, old, just aging out. You know, guys live to be 65, 70 years old, 75 years old, and doing life sentences, been to 14, 18, 20 parole boards, and bingo, they drop. Done. You know, so I just figured I was in that clown posse too, you know. So I was convinced that I was never getting out. You never were. If you were, you never let on, because you always told me, you're going to get out. Just, you know, stop being a bitch. Stop whining. You're going to get out.
I knew that they wouldn't keep you in forever.
They did keep me forever. I'm in a really good place right now, you know. But I'm still damaged, you know. I'm still scarred from all of that. But it doesn't control me like it used to. It doesn't control me like it did 2 weeks ago even, you know. But I'm still damaged from all that. But they didn't keep me forever in one sense. I mean, they let me out. I'm out walking the bricks, you know, pounding the streets. But I don't fit yet, you know. I still don't fit yet.
How does it work when they notify you that you're being released on parole? So you had your hearing, and then you had to wait, and then you had to wait, and every fucking day you called me and said, nope, no answer, okay, bye. You wouldn't even talk to me. Do you remember all those times you called and you just said,
couldn't.
Nope, nothing yet, click. It was like that day after day for like 3 fucking weeks.
Yeah, I couldn't talk.
That was crazy. Oh.
I was, we can edit, right? If we don't like what I said.
Yeah.
I was geared to kill myself at that time. And I didn't want you in my heart to talk me out of doing what I knew I had to do. What my friend John McKenzie did. I knew I had to shut you out. And I had to do it without offending you or hurting your feelings, because I knew that we were friends, great friends, and that when I was gone, you were going to miss me very much, and you were going to be really fucking mad at me for doing what I was going to do. So I was kind of setting that up, you know, so that it wouldn't hurt you so bad when I was gone. And that's why I would just call and say, nope, nothing. Click. And wait to 24 hours for the next day. Nope, nothing. Click. It was fucking torture to do that. It was torture not to find out every day. And it was torture not to be able to talk to the only friend that I had. But I was leaving.
I think I'm just afraid of the answer, but do you think that that was your defense mechanism? Like, I have a way out if I don't get out, or do you think you actually would have done it?
I would have done it. I had already justified it. I had already said my goodbyes. I had already made arrangements for my things to be picked up. I made arrangements with you to pick up my guitar. I made sure you knew and understood how special and important that instrument was to me and why. And I did that because I knew that you would come and get it for me.
Man. So I would have been mad, yeah, for a short period of time. I respect the fact that you survived as long as you did already. Because people don't, lots of people don't, right? So, but fuck, we were so close. That's how I would have felt. But that's how you felt, like everything's changing and all these people are getting released, but not you.
Not
right?
me.
You had some intense national opposition to your release.
Right. There was intense international opposition to my release. And I just knew that this was it. I was done. They had given me the opportunity by moving me away from all of my friends and the people I cared about. So they gave me the opportunity to do it without having to do it with my friends present. Because they moved me away from my friends 2 years before.
Can we get to the happy part now? Because this is fucking terrible. This is the worst conversation
You
ever.
asked.
I know. Oh, okay. Oh, fuck. So, okay. Okay. When you finally got that goddamn letter.
Goddamn drink. I need a goddamn drink.
That's my motto.
That is your motto. That is Paula's motto.
I say it at least once a day.
She needs a goddamn drink. So when I finally got the news, the corrections officer passes out mail, and I got that envelope, and we'd all been waiting for it. There's like 4 or 5 of us that had gone to the board at the same time, so we were all waiting at the same time. The CO handed it to me, and I just spun off and went right to my room.
By yourself?
By myself.
He knew what he was handing you, right?
Everybody knew. Everybody was watching for that. I had more time in than anyone in the prison. So everyone was watching for that. Everybody knew I'd gone to the board. So I grabbed it and I just spun off and went to my room and I knew I didn't make it because it was thick. And you always know if it's thick, it's got the appeal papers in it. So I resigned myself to open it up and read it. Just, you have to look, right? So I opened it up and I looked at it and it said parole release granted. So, and then it went on to say all of the reasons why, that I was granted parole and all of the things that they thought and all of the things they considered. And that's why it was so thick. I just laid there on the bed with a big, stupid smile on my face. I didn't want to talk to anyone. I didn't want to see anyone. But guys kept peeking around the door, peeking around the corner because I lived down this little hallway and you had to make a right-hand turn to come into my room. I had this room off and it was isolated off in the corner because I was the taxi driver and I had to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. There's a standing count at 10 o'clock at night. I didn't have to do that count because I'd be asleep by then because I had to get up at 4. So the CO would just peek in, see that I'm there, and he wouldn't wake me up. So guys were coming down the hallway, peeking around, and I was just laying there with this big, stupid grin on my face, and then finally this guy, John, comes down there and he goes, "So, what happened?" He goes, "You don't have to tell me. I can see it on your face. You fucking made it." And I handed him the paper, and he just busted out screaming, and he ran off with the paper and started showing it to everybody. The motherfucker made it. Motherfucker made it, so that made me really happy. I felt really good. At that point, it started to sink in, and then I had to run down and get on the phone and call you.
Were you emotional at all?
Yeah, because, P, I was going to kill myself that night. I had made up my mind to kill myself that night. I had all the stuff I needed. My brain was there. My courage was up. And I was done. And these motherfuckers let me go. Ruined my whole night.
You're a dick. Wow. Was your head spinning?
No, I was so excited. I was super excited. All of these dreams that I'd had for the past 41 years, man. All these things that I wanted to do. I was just, man, what am I going to do next? What am I going to do first? What's the first thing I'm going to do? What am I going to do? And all of these things that I wanted to do were just coming up and coming up and coming up. And I'm like, yeah, now I can do this. And now I can go see this person. And now I can do that. And all of these things, that I had been dreaming about, they were real now. I could do them. So it turns out I can't do them. A lot of them, But,
okay, don't go dark. Stay with me. Stay with me on the better moment. I just want to savor this better moment. So, did you call me first?
I did call you. You were the first person I called, yes. And then I called my sister, my family, and told them. Well, you're my family, but then I called my sister and told them.
I'm pretty sure that I recorded that call, so I think that we're going to have to take a pause so I can play it.
Yeah, let's play it.
I think I was pretty stunned.
You think you have it? Let's play it.
Okay.
Set charges, press 1. To reduce charges, press. Start the conversation now.
Hi, Pete.
What?
I made it.
What?
I made it.
I don't even.
Ridiculous, right?
Wait, I can't even comprehend this. What? What does this say? Read it to me.
It says you are being granted an open date after thorough and extensive review of the record. Consideration has been given to official and extensive community opposition to your release. It's got all this stuff I have to do with my conditions. I gotta get a job. I gotta get drug testing. I won't drink. I won't establish frequent establishments where they sell it, just beer, like no bars. I'll abide by a curfew. I will participate in anti-aggression and violence counseling as directed by the parole officer. That's the one they were on, I told you.
Holy fuck. Oh my god.
I made it. All right?
You made it, mister. This is all you. Oh my god.
All right.
I can't even. I can't even speak. You fucking did it. Okay, we're back.
Oh, we're back.
Yeah, I knew that I wanted to record that moment. But I want to know about when you were actually released and you had no fucking idea where you were going.
Not only did I not have any idea where I was going, I had no fucking idea where I was at. Because they bounced me around for a week, remember?
Oh, yeah.
I was a different prison every night for a week. I was chained, handcuffed, and bound, rolling down the road all day, every day, for 12 or 13 hours a day for the last week of my incarceration. They kept me moving so no one could find me.
Because, you know what, I heard that the press was blowing up the phones at your facility.
They were calling, they were calling, asking, hey, when's he getting out? Where's he going?
Have you heard about guys sabotaging other people's dates by planting weapons and stuff and like just fucking with them, getting them into trouble? And then, you lose your date because you get a ticket?
Yeah, it happens. It definitely happens. It's fucked up. It happens. But I'll tell you the truth, man. Most of us sabotage ourselves, It's funny, you spend your whole life wanting to get out. And then when they let you out, you spend your last few moments trying to stay in, I knew a guy in Auburn who got out. He did like 43, 48 years or something. It was an astronomical amount of time that he did. And he got out, and he wasn't out a day. He went right down to the liquor store, walked right in, grabbed a couple bottles of liquor, and walked straight out with them, Sat right down on the curb and waited for the cops to come and arrest him because he didn't want to be out. He came right back,
Yeah, I don't know. I think coming out after 40 years or 30 years is scary for a lot of people who don't have family.
It was scary for me, all right? Yeah. So it was scary. Sure it is. When they picked me up to bring me out, that was trauma. I didn't even know if I was getting out that day. I knew it was my day, but they'd been moving me all week, and nobody knew who I was. Any officer I stopped said, hey, I'm supposed to go home today. He'd be like, well, if you are, they'll come get you. I said, well, can you check? No, sorry, have a nice day. And so nobody would make a phone call, nobody would check out anything or, whatever. So finally, 7:30, 8 o'clock, whatever it was. In fact, it was earlier than that because they wanted to escort me with an armored car situation kind of thing. So it was actually earlier than that. It was probably about 6:30 in the morning. They came and said, hey, they opened the door and said, grab your stuff, man, you're out of here, you're going home. So I'm like, okay, cool. So at that point, at that moment, that was the pucker factor right there. At that moment, I could have been a fucking duck dog. So that's when it hit me that, okay, this is real, man. This is really going to happen.
I don't understand any of that lingo. Pucker factor, duck dog. What is it? Should I know this stuff or is this prison stuff?
I don't think so. I mean, maybe. So let's say you got a dog, right? And your dog is a hunting dog, right? Okay. If he's a deer dog or a rabbit dog, right, chasing rabbits, he doesn't have to be watertight, right? But if he's a duck dog, he needs a pucker factor. So you got to reach up, grab his nuts, give him a twist, and his asshole slam shut. So he doesn't sink when he goes swimming, see? So that's pucker factor. Your asshole slam shut.
That is the weirdest thing. Did you learn that in prison? I don't know if people say that.
I don't know, maybe.
Okay,
so that's pucker factor, right? So when you're really tense and everything just closes up.
Okay.
Okay, so that's pucker. I don't know, maybe women don't have pucker factor. I don't know. I'm thinking you do, but I don't know. So,
All right.
so that's when it sets in, you know, when they opened that door and they said, okay, get your stuff, you're going home. Now, I'd been on the road for 7 days. Didn't know where I was, didn't know if any of my stuff was with me. So I tell the CO, I say, I'm going home. He goes, yeah, I'm processing you out. That's what I do. That's my job. I said, well, I'm supposed to have some go home clothes, because he had these gray things that everybody, these khaki things that everybody gets to go home in. I says, I have clothes here someplace. My friend P sent me some clothes. He goes, all right, let me go look. Let me go figure it out. So he locks me in this cage and he leaves. And about 20 minutes later, he comes back and he's got the stuff. He got it all. He got everything that, you know, wallet, the belt, the jeans, the shirt, everything. It's all right there. And he goes, here, get dressed, man. That was the first time in 41 years that I put on real clothing. So that's when it really, it's sinking in now. This shit is over, man. Life starts new, you know? And other guys were in the holding tanks coming in, and they were looking at me going, giving me thumbs up and shit, going, yeah, man, you're out, right? I'm going, yeah. They're like, how much time did you do? And I'm like, 41 years. I'm like, holy fuck, bro. The whole world has changed out there, you know, and they're just telling me all this shit to do, and I'm just overwhelmed, you know? So then it's time to go, and parole had sent a bunch of parole officers to pick me up. And as soon as I step out of the cell, I get dressed, and they got me in the cell, and they said, these parole officers come in, they're dressed in ninja suits. They got on the body armor, they got weapons, they got the helmets. They look like SWAT team guys, right? To pick me up. And the cell
So
opens.
they weren't parole officers then?
They are parole officers.
Oh, really?
Yeah, parole officers dress like that, yeah. When they go on to pick something up, you know.
When they go into combat?
Yeah, when they go into combat, right? Like they got to go pick up a violator or something that they know is violent. Then, you know, they got to protect themselves, right? So they go get them. So anyway, that's how they showed up. And I step out of the cell, and the guy goes, all right, turn around, put your hands behind your back. I said, for what? He said, handcuffs. I said, I don't wear any fucking handcuffs. Fuck you, man. I'm on parole or I'm not. Immediately, my suit came on. Immediately. Now I'm like, fuck you, I ain't going. Fuck your parole. 41 years I tried to get this, but as soon as they tell me I got to put on the jewelry, I'm like, nah, fuck you, I ain't going. I said, am I under arrest or am I on fucking parole? Guy says, you're on parole, but it's policy. I said, well, I don't give a fuck about your policy. I'm not wearing your fucking jewelry. Not doing it. So it goes on and on. They're arguing with me. They're like, don't you want to fuck? How long you been in? I said, 41 fucking years. Is it, don't you want to go out? I said, fuck yeah. I'll follow you out, but I'm not wearing your fucking jewelry. I'm not wearing handcuffs. Forget it. I'm either under arrest or I'm on parole. What's it going to be? I'm never wearing fucking handcuffs again.
I bet they were thinking that you were scared and you wanted to stay in.
Maybe they were, but I wasn't. I had my suit on. I'm not. That's to me. It was just more fucking Department of Corrections pushing me around, and I was so fed up with that. They'd had me on the fucking the therapy bus for a week, right? I was so tired and so burned out, and I'm like, "Fuck you, man! I'm not taking any more of this bullshit." So finally, this goes on and on and on, and they got the supervisor. I don't know this, but they got 4 cars outside. You know. They got 8 or 10 people picking me up to transport me because, unbeknownst to me, they had got threats against me that people were coming to kill me. So I didn't know any of this stuff. And so their supervisor comes in and goes, "What the fuck is the problem here?" Because they've been talking to him on the radio. This fucking asshole won't go, man. This arrogant motherfucker isn't going, right?
Were you actually just afraid of going out? So you?
No.
I just want to make sure.
No.
I mean, that's not like you, but
absolutely not.
I would have just been like, whatever. Like, maybe not. I don't know. No.
If you were me, you wouldn't have. So you say, okay, maybe Paula Parrish would have said, "All right, put the fucking jewelry on me. I'm a girl. I like jewelry."
I don't know.
I said,
it would have felt like an insult.
It's the last fuck you, right? Here's your parole. Here's your papers. Sign out. Okay, you're free. Oh, but by the way, one more time, we're going to put handcuffs on you. No, fuck you.
As
man.
though you're going to fucking try to run or beat the shit out of it. It makes no sense.
First and foremost, I don't want your fucking ride. I have a ride. I don't need your fucking ride. First and foremost, I didn't ask you to come up here. So no, I'm not wearing your fucking handcuffs. Fuck you. Right? That's number one, right? So finally, the guy comes in, the boss comes in, and he goes, "What the fuck's going on?" You know, and I said, "I'm not wearing your fucking handcuffs." He goes, "It's just policy." I said, "I don't care what your fucking policy is. I'm either under arrest or I'm on parole. Which one is it?" Because I signed the fucking papers. And the lady behind the cage where I signed my papers and got my property, she goes, "Yeah, I'm done with him. As far as I'm concerned, he needs to get out of my prison. He needs to get out of this room. You know, he's no longer in corrections. He needs to go."
Nice.
Right? So she's like, you know, he's right, is what she's telling him. You're fucking dead ass wrong, you know? They want to handcuff me to control me because there's a death threat.
They did not know what to do with
They
you
didn't know what to do.
ever.
They had no idea. What do we do with this motherfucker? So finally the guy comes in, he goes, "Listen, man," he said, "it's fucking policy and I have my orders and it comes way above my head." He said, "Can we compromise?" I go, "What's
the officer or
the supervisor?"
Okay.
The parole officer supervisor.
Okay.
He goes, "Can we compromise?" And he's talking calm, and he's talking to me like a gentleman. He's not being an asshole, right?
Good.
I go, "Maybe. What do you got in mind?" He says, "How about if we just handcuff you in the front, man?" I said, "No, I'm not wearing your handcuffs." I said, "No, not going to happen." I said, "Respectfully, I'm not wearing your handcuffs." He goes, "All right, how about if we just put shackles on your feet and you just ride there like that, and I'll unshackle you before we get there, and nobody will ever know you had these fucking things on, and I can at least write in my report that you were restrained." He said, "And I'll keep them really loose." I said, "I can do that." He says, "Deal." He took his hand out, he shook his hand, and that's what we did. Walked out to the car, I got in the car, he put the shackles on me super loose, I could have slid them off, and away we went. Wow. A caravan of 4.
Oh my God, you're so bold.
All blacked out windows. It looked like I was, you know...
Like you were John Gotti or something.
Yeah. Stupid as shit. And I met my parole officer, and I told her I needed to call you to let you know where I was at and what was going on. And she handed me the phone, and I'm like, "What is this?" You know, I look like a calculator or something to me. I'm like, "What the fuck is this?" You know, and she goes, "Well, you know, call her." I said, "I don't know how to call her on this thing." So I gave her back the phone, and she called you for me and told you where I was at and everything. And you showed up.
Yeah.
Then it's amazing that I ended up that close to you.
It's fucking crazy. You're in New York City. I can't say I wasn't. I mean, I was bummed. I knew you didn't want this, so I was unhappy for you. But at least if you were in a place that you didn't want, which was what was going to happen anyway, probably, at least you were here where I could hang out with you and make sure you were okay.
Yeah, and you've definitely done that.
How did you... I remember I got an email that just said, "From boss, Long Island City."
Right.
How did you get a message to me? Who was that person? Tell me.
So when I found out where I was going, when I finally found out where I was going, I used the convict. I used the convict chain, right? So
wait, how? You were in some transit facility, right? And you saw someone you knew? Is that what happened?
No, I just saw someone.
Tell me.
So I saw someone who had phone privileges. And I said, "Listen, I've got this problem, blah, blah, blah. This is what's going on." He goes, "What can I do?" I said, "Do you have a girlfriend or a wife or a sister or somebody who can find this person online for me and send her an email?" He goes, "Yeah." So he gets on the phone, calls her. She finds you online and says, "What do you want me to tell her?" And I said, "Just tell her Long Island City." And she did. Sent you that email.
This call is subject to recording and monitoring. To accept charges, press 1. To refuse charges, press. Thank you for using Securus. You may start the conversation now.
Tell me.
No mail today.
Oh, are you fucking kidding me? Oh my God.
No, another day. No fucking answer.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay, I'm gonna go disappear for a while. I'll call you tomorrow if I hear something.
Okay.
All right, bye.
Bye. Sorry.
I know it's not your fault nor mine. Talk to you tomorrow.
Okay. Bye.
The caller has hung up. You may start the conversation now.
Hey, B.
Good morning.
It is morning. It's Friday.
Oh my God.
Yep. Yeah, I'm going to have to get a phone as soon as I get out so I can call you and let you know it's Friday.
Yeah. And I'm going to call you twice a day just for count. I'm going to call you at 11, 11:10.
Oh, man, you better not, man. I'll be all dressed up for breakfast. I want to stop at a Greasy Spoon someplace. I want to get a Southern style breakfast, so kind of look for one on the way up, all right? Because I want to get ham with eggs over easy and hashed brown potatoes, and toast, coffee, and orange juice.
Oh my God. Absolutely.
That sounds good. Dip my toast in eggs because we don't get eggs here. No real orange juice, no eggs, no bacon, no ham.
Oh my God.
Yeah, definitely.
The moment that you and I walked out and got into your car for the first time was the first time I felt free.
Oh my God. Wow. You were such a natural.
Well, I was probably hiding a lot of stuff, But I've been doing that my whole life, right?
Yeah.
Playing the part, right? But I'm sure it was a mess inside.
We went to a diner.
Yeah.
Then we went shopping. You had nothing.
We got toothbrush, we got toothpaste,
Yeah.
we got a razor.
You got to choose your own toothpaste and
Well, kinda.
all of that.
Yeah.
Did I?
Yeah.
Sorry. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I didn't want you to be I didn't want you to freak out from all the freedom.